another Talk About It Tuesday. And today's question is, how do you feel about gold and silver right now? Okay, so let's get a little background on this. So, historically, anytime we've seen long periods of inflation, meaning prices are going up, we've seen people take their money, their cash money, and transfer it to gold and sometimes silver, because as the value of the dollar goes down, that's basically what inflation is, the price of gold and silver go up. And so what people try to do with their extra cash, so it doesn't sit there and lose value, is put it into gold and silver. So as it goes up, they want to sell it later, not necessarily for a profit, but so that it has the same purchasing power that it would have had it been sitting in cash. So that's what has historically been the case. Now, interestingly enough, when let's go back several months, when there was a big debate as to whether the inflation that we were seeing was transitory or going to be short-lived, right? They were like, okay, as the reopening occurs, we won't see inflation continue. Things will kind of balance back out. At that time, gold and silver prices were stagnant. They were not moving at all. And interestingly, and I think really the media kind of pushed this, people were saying that Bitcoin was going to be the new gold, the new hedge against inflation, because we saw the price of Bitcoin, going up at that time. And I never heard from the mouth of anyone that I know who invests in Bitcoin that they were purchasing Bitcoin as a hedge against inflation. Most people were doing it because they were trying to take advantage of the meteoric rise, the meteoric change in prices. They were trying to take advantage of that. I never heard an actual person who was buying Bitcoin say, I'm doing this as a hedge against inflation, especially since we thought inflation was transitory. So gold and silver prices had not moved. But once the debate was over, once we realized that not only is this inflationary period not transitory, but it's going to be long lasting and it's going to get much worse before it gets better. And now exacerbated by the troubles in Ukraine, which has affected the entire globe. Now we're seeing what has historically happened. The price of gold and silver have gone up because people are starting to use gold as a hedge against inflation. And simultaneously, I don't know if it's ironic or not, but simultaneously, the price of Bitcoin is creeping down as the price of gold and silver are creeping up. So that ends the debate as to whether Bitcoin is a hedge against inflation. So how do I feel about gold and silver? I think that I personally would not buy gold bullion or silver bullion as a hedge against inflation. My issues are the same as they have always been. Trying to get out of it at the right time is difficult. There's storage and security issues. There's just so many issues. It doesn't pay dividends. There's so many issues in my mind that we don't have to use that old-fashioned model of having actual bullion. So how do we take advantage of the rise in prices and still, make some money, take our money and put it somewhere? So a couple of things we won't do. I would never do. I would never buy gold or silver jewelry as a hedge against inflation. I would never buy gold or silver coins as a hedge against inflation. You will never get your money back out of those things, especially gold and silver coins, unless they're really old and you have specialized knowledge. Don't even bother. I would not buy gold or silver bullion. Timing issues, security issues, so many different challenges with that. So how do you take advantage of gold or silver? Well, there are stocks that you can buy in gold mines or silver mines. You can do it that way, but unless you had those ahead of time, a little challenging to buy it as the price is high. But you can absolutely get the individual stocks. But if you want to diversify, which gives you a little more protection, then you can get a gold mutual fund, which means it's a mutual fund that invests in, primarily gold mines, gold futures, things like that. You can do gold futures, but gold futures is difficult. But a better way, which is probably a shorter term way than holding the stock or and lower fees than the mutual fund, is probably a gold ETF, exchange traded fund. So within a gold ETF, they primarily have holdings in gold or in gold futures. And so a gold ETF is very similar to a gold mutual fund, but it's a shorter term play. So you can get your money in, and it's very diversified. You can get your money, you can get dividends, and you can get your money out really fast, faster than a mutual fund. If you mutual fund, end of the day, ETF, any hour on the hour, you get that price. So absolutely, you can take advantage of the increase in gold, but I would try to profit off of it as opposed to just keeping it as a hedge. And I think a gold ETF right now is probably the best, safest, and easiest way for the average person to be able to capitalize on inflation and gold and silver prices increasing. Love the question. I'd like to hear your comments. Please like, subscribe, share, keep the questions coming, and I'll see you next Tuesday.